I'm an 18-year-old kid who is currently in college, but last year I made over $55,000 online. And I'm not saying that to brag at all, but when you really think about it, that's kind of insane. I don't come from a rich family, I don't have a trust fund, and nobody handed me anything. I made that money completely by myself, just by building and growing my own social media pages. We're living in a time where you don't necessarily have to follow the traditional 9-to-5 path if you don't want to. There are literally hundreds of ways to make money online right now. Yet for some reason, whenever someone chooses to do their own thing instead of following the normal path, people automatically assume it's a bad decision. Even in my situation, after having some pretty solid financial success over the last year, I'm still sitting in college classes every day. And honestly, sometimes I ask myself why I'm even here, when I don't really enjoy it. None of the things I've learned in college so far have actually helped me make any of the money that I made online. And I think that that's a problem that a lot of people in the world are starting to realize, but not many people are talking about yet. Obviously, the world is becoming more advanced every single year, and there are thousands of people who are taking advantage of the opportunities the internet creates. But at the same time, there are millions of people taking out huge student loans just so they can go to school, graduate, hopefully land an average job, and then slowly work their way up the ladder for the next 40 years of their life. And look, if you truly want to become something like a doctor or a surgeon or pursue a career that actually requires a degree, then of course going to school makes sense. But for people like me who are in college mostly because it's just what society expects you to do, you start wondering if it's actually worth it. Before I go deeper into this topic though, I want to quickly explain who I am and what this channel is about. Right now, you're just watching me play Minecraft, but there's actually a reason why I want to make videos like this. Like I said earlier, I'm an 18-year-old who managed to build some success online through social media, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But running and growing social media pages can also be stressful and demanding at times. At the same time though, it's honestly one of the best jobs in the world. So I decided to start this channel where I can talk about my experiences and share everything I've learned over the last few years working with social media. My goal is that if someone watching this video right now wants to start their own page or build something online, they can learn from the things that worked for me and also from the mistakes that I made along the way. Even though I'm only 18, I've spent years studying how social media works and how pages actually grow. And I want to share that knowledge with anyone who's interested. And to be honest, I'm also just excited to play Minecraft again. Managing social media pages while also being in college doesn't leave much time for games anymore, so it's nice to relax and build something while talking about this stuff. The world I'm playing on right now is actually one that I started earlier this summer. I didn't do too much with it yet, but I really like the landscape here, so I think I'll probably keep building in this world. If you guys want me to start a brand new world for this series though, just let me know. Now that you know a little bit about me and why I'm making these videos, let me explain what I actually mean by all of this. I'm not making this video to say that college is useless. What I'm saying is that a lot of people spend years of their life studying something they don't even care about, going into huge amounts of debt without really having a clear idea of what they want to do with their degree or their life. Because that's honestly how it felt for me. When I first went into college, I had no idea what I actually wanted to do with my life. I ended up choosing digital marketing as my major because I knew I liked social media, but I didn't really understand what career that could lead to. For some people, that works out great, and they eventually find a job they enjoy. But when I started looking at the types of digital marketing jobs people get right after graduating and saw salaries around $40,000 a year, it honestly scared me a little bit. Because at the exact same time that I was starting my first semester of college, my social media pages started making serious money. And suddenly I was making more from something that I built myself online than what I would likely earn at an entry-level job after finishing 4 years of college. Now, even though I can't tell you the exact names of my social media pages, I can still give you a simple breakdown of how I actually made the money so you understand that what I'm saying is real. Most of the money I made last year came from short-form content, mainly YouTube Shorts, but I also made a decent amount from TikTok as well. The content itself isn't anything extremely complicated either. Most of it is sports-related breakdown videos. Basically what I do is find moments that people already care about. Things like crazy moments in sports, smart plays, emotional moments, controversial situations, things that people are already talking about. Then I take those moments and explain them in a way that is entertaining and easy to watch so people stay engaged throughout the video. That's really the entire game when it comes to short-form content. You take something people already care about and you present it in a way that keeps their attention long enough for the algorithm to push the video to more people. I've been studying YouTube for years. Honestly, I've probably tried over 20 different channels over the years, and most of them completely failed. I tested so many different ideas that didn't work at all. But every time something failed, I learned something new about how the platform works and what people actually want to watch. Eventually, it felt like I almost brute forced my way into becoming a YouTuber, because I tried so many different things until I finally found something that worked, and once I had a method that actually made sense, everything started to grow a lot faster. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because I want you to understand that this is something anyone can learn. If you want to start a social media page, whether that's about sports, gaming, commentary, or even just your own life, it's completely possible as long as you approach it the right way. The first thing you should do is find a niche that you actually enjoy. Then start studying other creators in that niche who are getting consistent views but aren't necessarily the biggest creators yet. Look at the types of videos they're making and try to understand why those videos work. You don't have to copy them exactly, but you can take inspiration from what they're doing and add your own style to it. That's honestly what almost everyone on YouTube does now. Most successful creators aren't inventing completely new ideas. They're just taking proven formats and improving them or presenting them in a different way. If you try to make content without studying what's already working, you're basically just guessing and hoping something works. And most of the time that just leads to frustration because the videos don't perform the way you expected. But when you start learning the patterns behind successful content, things begin to make a lot more sense. So if you really want to build something online, just understand that it's not about luck. It's about developing the skills that make content perform well and being consistent long enough for those skills to improve. Anyone can learn how to do this if they're willing to study and practice. We only get one life. And personally, I don't want to spend 40 years doing something that I hate, just because that's what everyone else expects me to do. At least that's how my brain works, and if you're still watching this video right now, there's a good chance you might feel the same way. Now, even though I'm saying all of this, I'm still in college right now. So the question is, why am I still there if I clearly enjoy building things online more? Well, the reason is pretty simple. My major right now is digital marketing. So technically it's somewhat related to what I'm doing with social media, but the more time I spend building my own pages, the more I realize that working in digital marketing for a company is completely different from running your own online business. Right now, my plan is to just finish this semester. It's already February, so there are only a few months left before summer. If my social media pages continue to grow the way they have been, then I'll probably have a serious conversation with my parents about whether it even makes sense for me to continue going to college. Because at the end of the day, running social media pages and building online businesses is what I actually enjoy doing. And it's hard to justify continuing college if I'm just spending more money and potentially taking on more student loans for something that I am not even sure I want to do long term. Once you experience what it feels like to build something real from nothing and see the results directly connected to your own effort, it becomes very difficult to go back to a path where your income is capped by a salary and controlled by someone else's rules. And I think that's one of the biggest things college doesn't really teach people. College teaches you how to follow a system, but it doesn't necessarily teach you how to create value in the real world. The things that actually made me money online were skills. Learning how to find topics people already care about, learning how to present them in a way that makes people click, learning how to keep people watching long enough for the algorithm to push the video, and most importantly, learning how to stay consistent even when things aren't working yet. And the crazy part is, none of those skills require a 4-year degree to start learning. That's real digital marketing. Understanding attention, understanding content, and understanding how to reach people online. And by the time someone finishes 4 years of college studying digital marketing, the strategies they learned might already be outdated, because the internet changes so fast. Of course, this is all just my personal opinion and my experience. So I'm actually really curious to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think college is still worth it in situations like mine? Or do you think it makes more sense to focus on building something online if it's already working? Because at the end of the day, it's still kind of crazy to think that I'm only 18 years old and I managed to make over $55,000 online last year. If this was 20 years ago, something like that would be almost impossible unless you were running a company or working your way up in a big corporation. But now it's possible for a normal kid who grew up playing sports and spending time on the internet to start making content, study what people enjoy watching, and eventually build something that actually generates real income. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm going to keep making these types of relaxed videos where I talk about life, social media, and everything I'm learning along the way while playing games like this. And if there's anything specific you guys want me to talk about in future videos or something you're curious about when it comes to growing on social media, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.